Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel again. I wanted to continue on a little bit here with some more of my Masters of the Universe He-Man collection. In my last video I kind of went through everything that I had was like original from He-Man, the Wave 1 they call it, the first stuff that came out. But I missed a piece here, as you can see. It's Battle Cat, who was He-Man's mount, I guess you call him, and companion. And I'm disappointed I sold the original He-Man already on my eBay store. And if you're interested in any of the stuff that's in my videos, you can definitely check out the link in the description below. It'll have my eBay store page on it. The original He-Man's gone. He sold pretty fast, but I wish I would have packaged them with this original Battle Cat because they went together. So I took his helmet off there so you can see him a little bit better. This is still in really good shape. As you can see, take a look at it. These toys were pretty well made back in the early 80s. His paint is all on him. He's in really good shape. They just did a good job designing these toys to last. He's kind of that hard plastic, and he doesn't move or anything. His legs didn't move. He's just like a solid piece of plastic, but still got all his paint on him. They just did a good job, like these saddles. They used a very nice, like, soft, pliable plastic on them, which made them hold up and very durable. Even like the helmet that goes on them, if you can see, it's just kind of a soft, pliable rubber almost, but it's plastic, I'm sure, but just made it hold up really well over the years. And this is just always a really cool toy. Put on his armor, I guess you call it, and saddle, and it was just a cool piece. So that was one of the last pieces I had of my original He-Man Masters of the Universe stuff. Now I want to go on and start showing you some of the stuff that came out a little bit later. And as you can see from the title of the video, just kind of strange designs that came later on in the He-Man universe, the Masters of the Universe Masters of the Universe. This first one I show you is badly damaged, unfortunately, because it was one of my favorite characters growing up, and I think a family dog at one point got a hold of it, and as you can see, put some pretty bad chew marks on him. This was my only one that was really damaged. This guy was called Many Faces. It was kind of supposed to be a pun of. And he could turn. I think I can still turn it. He could change his face. He had a human face, kind of like a demon face, and let's see if I can turn it back at all, or if I broke it even more. This one's damaged, so I'll probably still sell it for parts. You know, if someone needs the legs or that thing's preventing it from turning, that piece of broken plastic right there. Let's see if I can get it back down, or yeah, there we go. I think I moved it enough so you could turn it. His human face, his sort of demon face, and there's his robot face. So we had three faces. Still a pretty cool, unique idea, I think, for the Masters of the Universe characters. This one was still one of the earlier ones, so I don't know if he was Wave 1, but he was early in maybe the second wave of Masters of the Universe. So that one will be on my eBay store, but obviously it'll be listed as a damaged piece. But if someone has the torso and needs new legs or arms or anything like that, it's still in really good shape otherwise. So that was Many Faces. Then we start getting into some of the second wave stuff. This was a later character too. This guy's name, I believe, was it? I can't remember anymore. Oh, it has completely thrown me for what his name was. But he still had a pretty cool idea. He had a little dial here on the back, and if you put his arms up, you could spin him around, and his attack was kind of a whirlwind attack. So pretty good design. He obviously had a little emblem or something on him that's missing. I'll have to look up and see what his name was. But yeah, you could move his arms up and down, and they were on these little swivels, so he could do that spinning action. So still, I think, a pretty good design for Masters of the Universe. They haven't gotten too bizarre yet. I like that one. I'll have to look up his name. I can't remember right now. I've completely lost track of a lot of these names. This one was cool too. This was Moss Man, and if you can tell in the video, he's actually like furry almost. He's got like what feels almost like moss covering his whole body. And what was cool about Mossman, if you look closely, first of all, almost the exact same facial design as Beastman, one of the original Masters of the Universe characters. So not much for originality, but this part's really cool and original. And what was really cool about these, anyone that had these as a kid, if you remember when you first got Mossman, and you opened him up and took him out of his box, he smelled just like a pine tree, like those old pine tree air fresheners that people used to hang in their car. He smelled like that, and he actually had that smell for years. I smelled him when I took him out of it today. He does not have that smell anymore. That smell is long gone now, as this toy is, you know, from the early 80s. So, but really, that one was still a pretty cool design, I think, for Masters of the Universe. So, that was Mossman. Here's where, to me, they start kind of taking a turn for the worse. This guy's okay. This guy's name, I think, was like Grizzor or Grizzlor, something like that. Just, you know, a furry guy. You know, he had kind of claws and had this whole furry body, which we'd never seen on any of the Masters of the Universe before. They kind of, this was definitely a variation from the original plan of Masters of the Universe. So I don't know. Not much to say about him, really. He's just, he looks like he's a guy wearing a really thick fur coat with the hood pulled up. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, these big yellow fangs and red eyes, I don't know. Not that great of a design, in my opinion. I don't know. And they kind of continued on with some not great ideas, in my opinion. I can't remember what this guy's name was exactly, but he was obviously, you know, a take on like a Siamese twin type character. He had these arms that swung like that, you know, kind of a springing action. And I you know, that was his gimmick, I guess. They were just trying to think of different gimmicks, I guess, to keep it original. I should have looked up the names of these characters. I can't remember. Maybe if you guys know the names of these characters, feel free to put them in the comments below, because I kind of lost the names over the years. Here's another one that I wasn't crazy about as a kid. I don't know the name of this one either, but it just doesn't have the look of the original He-Man at all. You know, if you didn't know this was Masters of the Universe without someone telling you, you know, you would never guess it. It's got 4 legs and arms similar to the original Masters of the Universe, except a little smaller, a little skinnier. And you can see this dial on the back. Wait for the big reveal here. Yep, his eyes popped up like that. And I just remember getting this and thinking, oh my god, you know, that was it. I mean, that looks like something a little kid's toy would do. You know, and when you're 8, 9 years old as a boy, that isn't something that you're really that into. So he was never one of my favorite characters. So this one, they start getting a little weird, that's for sure. This character model is not bad, because this one kind of went back to the original Masters of the Universe design. He's got the, oops, bumped my camera, sorry about that. Kind of similar legs and torso and muscular arms like the originals. Kind of has a skull-looking face, almost like Skeletor. This guy's name was like Horak, I think. And in the newer Masters of the Universe cartoons and comics, or whatever they were, you found out he was actually kind of like Skeletor's leader, you know. He was even above him. He led these new group of henchmen. As you can see, he's got this almost like bat with wings, and a lot of these newer characters had that too. See, he's got one on his chest. This guy's got one on his. So they were like the new henchmen of, I want to say this guy's name was Horak. They were the new ones out to get, you know, the Sword of Grayskull or whatever it was called from He-Man. So it wasn't a bad character. He was kind of like a step up from Skeletor. And he actually, I forgot to show you some of the stuff they came with here too. He came with a little staff. The handle's about to break off, but there's his staff of his bat or whatever. And then they started coming out with these crossbows that were, I don't know, they were okay. You kind of clicked them together and you could push the button, and they kind of did that. I guess that was a way to fight with them. So they would come with those. A lot of the characters came with them. There were all different colors and variations that came with them. I always remember Man-E-Faces, the first one we looked at here. this guy. He came with like a whole bunch of weapons, which was really cool. He came with like this laser gun and regular sword and a shield and this like mace or club. So that was kind of cool, I guess, because of all of his different characters. You got a lot of weapons with that guy, so it was kind of cool. It's something different. But you know, the ideas for Masters of the Universe were definitely starting to wear out. This is another one. This was probably my least favorite of all, and this is probably what did it in for Masters of the Universe for me. Look at this guy. I don't even know how to explain it. He kind of looks like a pig, but he's a leech. He had this suction cup mouth and hands and feet, and he had like he had this in the back because you could like suck water in his mouth, I think, and stick him to stuff with his mouth. That was his thing. I mean, I don't know. To me, again, he's got that emblem on him, so he was the part of that new crew of villains that came out later on, and I rarely played with this guy even. I just thought he was boring. I thought he was kind of a stupid idea for a villain. I mean, it is what it is. Maybe some people loved him, but I was pretty much lost on Masters of the Universe at that time, so I was ready to move on. And here's a perfect example of how you kind of know they're running out of ideas for Masters of the Universe characters. Now this one looks kind of cool. He's like a robot, and they had these cool gears inside of him, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think when you moved his, if you moved his waist, the gears turned. Okay, that's kind of cool. Kind of gives him a robot look, and his mouth opened up and down. But if you look closely at this character, you might recognize a few things from an original one I don't have anymore because I actually sold it on eBay. But Trapjaw, which was one of the original villains from Masters of the Universe, there's a lot of similarities. First of all, the Trapjaw is almost identical. He has a removable hand just like Trapjaw. This guy came with an axe and this double-barreled gun and sort of a claw like Trapjaw. So almost the same, and even all the way down to like his plates on his legs are almost identical to Trapjaw's. So they were kind of starting to recycle some ideas at this point. I don't know if I can see a year at all on these. This one might be hard to read. I might have to look at a different one and see if I can see how much later these came out than the originals. I don't know if we can see it on there. Can I get it? 1984 it looks like. Yeah, 1984. So these are about 3 years after the original Masters of the Universe. So you can see, and I know they went on for a few years after this. I had quit collecting by that point, and the ideas got worse and worse. Look them up online sometime. As He-Man went from wave 1 to wave 2, 3, 4, 5, the ideas just get more and more out there. There's some cool videos on YouTube. You can look and see some of the even more bizarre characters than some of these that I showed you. I mean, if you think these are bad, you know, Leech Man, I think his name might have been Leech Man, or this guy with the popping eyes, you think these are bad ideas, look up on some of these YouTube pages, and if I find one, I'll put the link in the description below. It's some of the really bizarre ones that came out later on in Masters of the Universe. So I wanted to show you one more thing before we go. Now this is not this is kind of funny. It's not a Masters of the Universe character, but I always just I think it was just a cheap knockoff back in the day, but I always just used him with my Masters of the Universe because I thought he was cool. You know, they couldn't think of ideas just a little more simple like this. This is just a pirate character, but look how much he looks like a Masters of the Universe character. Same muscular build, legs, arms, and everything, and he just has, you know, a simple pirate type vest, pirate hat, sword, pirate sword. Let's see if we can see. I don't know. It's hard to read these with my camera. I don't have the best lighting, I guess. Let me see if I can read it on my own. It's 19. Oh boy, I can't see it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. And we can get it. There we go. 1983. And that's the Remco made in Hong Kong. So this isn't Mattel or a big company like, but I mean, came out right around the same time, but just not, you know, I understand Master of the Universe is supposed to be kind of like a bizarre alien type of adventure, but this would have been a cool guy. Came from like a pirate planet or something, you know. So he was just another character that I threw in there because I played with him as well. But hope you guys like these videos. This is kind of the last of my Masters of the Universe collection, unless I find some more stuff hidden away. Like I said before, these are all going to be for sale on my eBay store, so check out the link in the description below. I got a lot of other stuff to go through besides Master of the Universe. Like I said before, we've got Star Wars, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Transformers. So feel free to subscribe so you can see more. Hit that like button if you like this video, and comment down below to say hello, or if you can remember the name of some of these characters that I couldn't, you know, help me out a little bit and leave a comment down below. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next time.